Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. We're sponsored by Health West. Great organization, great people. Give them a try. Bring your friends and family to them around Idaho. Also sponsored by my companies, New Clean Commercial Cleaning and Commercial Cleaning Services, servicing currently from Burley all the way to Rexburg. So give us a holler, 208-254-7070. And if you tell us that you heard about us on the podcast, we will give you something of value for free. You know, we'll talk. Maybe a sterilization, might be a carpet cleaning. Who knows? No strings attached. All right, people. This is going to talk. We're going to talk to the leaders today, but we're also going to talk just to their staff, just to your employees. You know, people who are trying to become future leaders of organizations. I'm saying here, how do we add to the bottom line? How do we move the needle as you are an employee for a company? I had a great mentor, an advisor when I was an intern for the Simplot Games when I was in college, and he was a public relations specialist for a very big company, and he made that comment that, to me, if you're not adding to the bottom line of your company, you better be looking for another job. And that's something that stuck with me throughout my whole professional life until this point, and it's still going to stick with me, obviously. But it doesn't matter what area you work in, public relations, HR, programming, IT, so many different, quality control, wherever you are at, your position adds to the bottom line. And if it hasn't been described to you how it does add to the bottom line, and you need some clarity on that, just so you can wrap your mind around it, so you can make it more real for you, go ask your manager. And if your manager doesn't know, go hire and figure it out. This is where leaders need to be better at communicating this to our staff, how their roles matter and add to the bottom line of the company. We don't want a bunch of George Jetsons out there just going to the sprocket company and clocking in, making their sprockets, and clocking out, going home. It would be much better if they were going in knowing, okay, if I produce X amount of sprockets today and I make every edge perfect, it's going to help the bottom line of this company by X percent, because the returns aren't going to, the returns percentage is going to fall down, quality is going to be up, customer satisfaction is going to be up, repeat buyers are going to be up. That, explaining that to your staff in all their positions helps dramatically. And if it doesn't, and after you explain that to them and you've done your best to help them understand how their role really matters in your organization, and you see that it really doesn't matter to them, you might need to find someone else. And that's always something that we'd have to worry about and think about at times. So, people, the biggest reason that we don't succeed is because we're chronic procrastinators. A lot of times it's because of fear. It's because of many different reasons, but we procrastinate. How do we get around that? How do we get better? Well, some of the top performing employees, you can ask yourself, how do I be better? Well, how's your attitude, number one? Are you a negative Nancy, or are you someone who's got a positive attitude? Are you someone who's good at problem solving, or doesn't just vomit problems on your workmates or your leadership? Uh, do you have goals? You know, do you have, do you accept constructive criticism? Can you communicate early when you see something that may be a problem? Um, do you ask for feedback? Are you motivated? Are you highly motivated? Um, do you set clear performance goals for yourself? Um, these are just some things that will really help, as you try to become a higher performer in your company. But I'm telling you right now, having time management skills and being just resilient, knowing that things are going to smack you in the face at times. It's not just you as a staff, a normal staff member. It happens to every one of us, managers, owners, everyone gets smacked in the face some way or another. So if it happens to you here and there, don't take it as a diss to you. Just know things happen in business, and it's business. It's not a reason for us to be, to find reasons to be malicious in business and to do shady things. But things happen. Okay. I like what Tony Robbins has to say here. He says, I think about what's the best way to serve people in business. If you do more for others than anybody else does, you dominate. That's the bottom line. So add that to the other high performing attributes, finding ways to care about others, not just your clients, not just, um, whatever, but just the people you work with. How can you serve them better? How can you help them better? And this is for leaders as well. How can you help your staff better? And this falls into culture. How can we create a better culture for our staff to help them enjoy work more, to help them get more out of their profession? Because it talks here, it was highlighted by Engage for Success, found that increased employee happiness can improve productivity levels by 10%. Furthermore, a report from Great Place to Work emphasizes that strong company culture driven by engaged employees leads to better financial outcomes. And I'll tell you right now, I've seen that firsthand. Um, Overnight, you can make a change within your organization and you can see the culture flip and your employees being more engaged by eliminating someone that's toxic. You can do that by even eliminating a client who's toxic. Or there's other ways you can do it too. But creating that culture, if you don't have a culture in your organization, or if it's a culture currently just driven by fear. I've worked for an organization like that. It was not fun. It's not a fun way to work. If you're a leader of an organization that's constantly berating your employees and you're motivating by fear, you're not going to get the best out of your employees. Knowing that firsthand as an employee of those organizations, them motivating by fear and by punishment, gosh, like you're working just out of fear of punishment, not because you loved your job or you wanted to add to the bottom line. You're just like, shoot, I just don't want to get in trouble. So you have to create a culture, that's going to generate success. Now, everyone has different core values. Mine are, be honest, have fun, make money, and work together. The one I really want to talk about right now is have fun. Okay. Not all people are like me. Not all people think, hey, I'm going to have so much fun today at work. And that's how I want my organization to work and run. Maybe you're more serious in nature, but maybe you still have what quirks and ways that you enjoy to have work, to work. So to implement those into your business so people enjoy working there. Please don't have an organization that's ran by fear. That's not a fun way to work. It's not a fun way to lead. And it's not an effective way to lead because you're never going to get the most out of your people. Okay. This is a big part. Forbes, I was reading this. Forbes revealed that a significant portion of employees do not understand how their jobs impact financial results. This is huge. This is huge, people. Now, again, we talked about the George Jetson syndrome. Hey, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to clock in. I'm going to make my sprockets. I'm going to go home. And I can see, like in different organizations, like, hey, I'm just here to program or to do this or to whatever. I'm going home. I'm clocking in. I'm going home. Then I'm here for a few hours and I'm going home. They never see how their actual work ties into the business and how it adds value to the business and how it adds to the bottom line of the business. If you as a leader haven't been more forthcoming with your employees, like how each one of their positions adds to the bottom line, you should do that. And it's not a diss on you. You know, I've been thinking about that. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I've been thinking about this last week and this weekend, thinking, how can I do this more for my staff? How can I make this more in the forefront of my business, of helping them understand how their quality, how their work adds to the bottom line. And again, if you do that and you still see nothing progressing in their arena, within their professional realms, you have the wrong person. Some people just don't want anything. They don't care. Some people just want to see the world burn. And I honestly believe that some staff members we have, they literally just want to see the world burn. And we need to get rid of those toxic people quickly. And it's sad to say that. And it's sad to admit that, but there are some bad eggs out there that just don't want to succeed, or they want to sabotage themselves to succeeding, and they want to sabotage their company at times because they're just jaded when it comes to their lives, when it comes to everything. They can't think of anything positive within their own life, within their own business, within their own position, within their own whatever. They're gonna talk crap about their company, their manager, the person they eat lunch with. They just can't help it. And these are the people we have to pluck out of organizations to help the culture stay strong, so other people can enjoy where they work and you can get the most effective work from these people. Okay. Is you as a staff member, if you're not in leadership yet, if you don't know where, exactly how your efforts contribute to the bottom line, ask your supervisors, ask your managers, ask how, hey, I'm not trying to be, undermining in any way, or, try to, get in, to say anything weird. I just want to know, how does what I do add to the bottom line of the company? I'm just trying to make it more real for me. And I guarantee that will help. That'll help. And once they break it down, like, hey, if you do this is what happens, X, Y, and Z. If you don't get these couple things done that you do every day, this is what happens, X, Y, and Z. And then this is what happens to the company, the metrics of this organization. I think this is huge for everyone to understand that. So be a contributor, move the needle. Every employee should impact the bottom line. If you're not, why are you there? You need to ask yourself that. And as leaders, if we're not moving the needle every day as a business owner or as a manager, what are we doing? Okay. It's time to earn our keep. It's time to keep earning our keep by doing these things. So I hope this can be helpful. Go out there today and this week. Be happy, be grateful, find opportunities to serve others. Have a great week. See ya.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.